Hello again, legends. How are we? It is a sunny, rather warm Sunday. Sit rep, 24 degrees at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday, the 22nd of June. I was on taproom duty all this weekend, Friday and Saturday. I brewed Friday. Previous video you saw the week before. Brewed Friday, came in super early, got it done. Really good brew day, that one. Chugging away, lovely as we speak. And then the final of the 3 LCBF beers is a fruited sour. So this is a kettle sour. So actually this brew day kind of covers 2 days. It goes in kind of 2 different parts. So first being mash, sparge, tiny mini boil, a little bit of chilling, and then inoculating the wort with, which we'll talk about this a little bit later, I guess, but with this, plantarum, which is essentially gut health tablets, but it gives us the souring bacteria that we need to give a really nice, clean, managed sourness to the wort, which we'll talk about. So no Philly sour here. I like to do kettle sours, do it properly. Well, not properly, it's the long-term souring stuff, but you know, we're only 2 years old. I'm not into that stuff just yet. So yeah, I'm here 2 o'clock in the afternoon, water's heated up. Just giving the brew house an extra CIP because it's super warm, and you know, skunky off sourness is just rife at this time of year when stuff's warm. So I want to give it an extra clean before we do that, because we're going to be in a high risk zone for 3 or 4 days. Because once we seal this kettle up, I'll show you a little bit later about what we do to try and avoid any nasties and stuff. We're in danger zone territory while this bacteria eats away and generates all this sourness, so we need to be super meticulous on the cleaning. But anyway, I'm going to mash in. You've seen me do this before and talk my way through it and all this sort of stuff, so maybe we'll just time lapse it and then we'll just rip on through. Let's go. Hey, so we've mashed in. God, it's hot, I tell you. So we've mashed in, obviously you've seen that quite a few times. The auger of loveliness makes mashing in really good. Just coming towards the end of the mash, just check the mash pH. I still haven't calibrated my meter properly, so it's showing 5.41. It's 0.07 out, so we're like 535, 534. I'm taking that all day long. I'm shooting for 5.3 anyway, so that's great. I'm just running a quick nitric wash on the kettle. The reason I do this, obviously I climb inside and clean it and scrub it, but of course it's hot side. you're kind of not less worried about it, because cleanliness is, you know, good thing, but, you know, because you're boiling everything all the time, so you're getting that sterility. Whereas we're just going to be boiling the wort long enough just to get it sterile, 5-10 minutes. And then after that, the wort's going to sit in there while it sours. So I want it to be as clean as it possibly can be. So I'm just running a nitric wash on it. I'll just flip you around and show you what I'm doing. So this is the bottom of the kettle, and this is the setup, and this is another reason why I've got the valve arrangement over here. I've just taken that pump off because it's not pumping as well as it was, and I just wanted to have a bit of a look inside, make sure none of the impellers were blocked. But anyway, so what I've got is, this is my mash transfer pump. So that's the pump that pulls the wort out of the underback usually, and then pushes it into the side of the kettle as we're sparging and running off. What I've done here is I've got the kettle with some hot water, 60 degrees, 65 degree water at the bottom, with some nitric acid in, coming through these valves using this long hose that I use for sparging and running off for, and then into the pump. And then I've got that valve closed all the way up to the top. And if you can see on the top, this hose line goes into the top, into a spray ball. And that is just basically washing the inside of the kettle, as per a CIP on the Whirlpool, or even on any of these tanks, actually, exactly the same. But we're just running that for a quick kind of 15 minute wash, just to make sure it's as clean as it possibly can be, before we then obviously put the wort in there and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, so just finishing that. Beeper's going to go off shortly. So I'm just going to stop this, run it out, put some water in to just rinse it out, and yeah, we'll start the sparge. So, brew day's been cracking on quite nicely. I've had a few people come in for cans, even though we're not like officially open in the tap room wise, but still get people come in and pick up cans and come in for a chat and right in the middle of something, but you know. So mash is done. I've just dug it out and give it a good old hose down. We see it there, but I'll show you in a second. All the bags are all dug out. It just needs a good wash down, but I've run out of hot water because all the wort is now in the kettle. And I'll just spin you around and just show you actually. So all the wort's in the kettle. We've run everything off. We've hit our target. So now it's just been set to boil for about 10 minutes. We've got up to boil and I just boiled it off for 10 minutes. I've made a mark of what volume we got up to, and then I've disconnected the side tube because the wort's going to sit in here for about 4 days, and I don't want manky wort sat in that tube which has got a connection into the tank, because this isn't sterile, because it doesn't get boiled. So I had to disconnect that, but I've made a mark of where it is. I've then also sealed off the chimney, taken the chimney off and sealed it up with cellophane and a wet sanitized cloth, and then cable tied it so it's all nice and sealed. Now the plan is I've fully sanitized all of the pump and the pipe work all the way through. I'm now going to start running hot wort from the kettle at the bottom, actually, down through this hose, out the other side through the heat exchanger. I'm going to chill it down to 30 degrees, take it back up and drop it back into there. What I'll do is I'll probably start chilling it really hard to begin with, and then just slowly backing it off so I can get that 30 degrees I want in the kettle, before we then attach CO2 to the bottom, blow CO2 through to blow any oxygen out, dose the tablets in, and then seal that lid up, and then leave it, and then come back and periodically check it every couple of days for pH. So let's get this underway. So I'm running the cold liquor out of the cold liquor tank, and I'm controlling it, the flow out through with that ball valve on the outlet there. And this is the outlet temperature on the heat exchanger. So obviously I've got cold liquor going in on one side, about 4 degrees. And obviously on the other side of the heat exchanger, we've got the hot work going through from the kettle. We need to chill the whole kettle down to about 30 degrees. Given the weather at the moment, it'll stay there quite happily on its own. I did try initially when I did this the first time, I didn't bother trying to chill the kettle, and I just left it, and I thought, wow, I'll give it 24 hours, that would have cooled down. I came back 24 hours later and it was still like 80 degrees, so this is definitely the most efficient way of doing it. So trying to get back down to 30, it's going straight back into the top there, and obviously we're harvesting the hot water that's coming out of the heat exchanger and it's going back into the hot liquor tank, which we'll reuse for cleaning and all that sort of good stuff. So yeah, nothing goes to waste as much as possible. So yeah, just a matter of dialing all of this in. I'll get some hot water soon as well. So now I've got the grain out, I can get this nice and properly clean, because this isn't going to get used now for like another 3-4 weeks, if not a bit more. So we need to make sure it's super clean, doesn't go off. And then it's CIP the kettle and the lines once that's all done. So temperature set, and we're chilling it down to 30. About halfway through. Yeah, see, I can now put my hand on this now, so we're really starting to make a dent on the thermal mass that's in here, because that's the battle, is you've got to chill it enough to overcome the thermal mass of all the hot liquor that's in here. So yeah, we're getting there. I think as that slowly starts to drop, we're going to get a lot closer. About halfway through our hot liquor tank, which is claimed about half it, but it's about 600 litres, which is about right. Mash tun's all nice and clean and ready to go. Yeah, home stretch. Quick pH check of the liquor that's in the kettle. 5.3. Once I take off the 0.07, that's there and thereabouts. Some people pre-acidify the kettle before they add their aciding agent. The times before I haven't done it, I know it can help get it going quicker, but I haven't had the need to do it. So these are the tablets I use, Planetarium, which I find give the cleanest souring. I add about 7 or 8 of these little tablets into what's that, 900 litres, sort of 9 hec is enough, and that will do it over 3 or 4 days. This beer I want to be good and sour, so I'm going to be aiming for a pH drop to about 3.4. We'll get some extra sourness from the passion fruit as well, but then the mango will add some sweetness, so I'm trying to kind of balance those out. So yeah, these are the ones I use, highly recommended. When I've done this on a home brew, I put sort of 2 or 3 in and got it done in sort of 2 days at like sort of 25 degrees. So yeah, highly recommended. Super cheap way of doing home kettle souring. All the same concepts apply if you're doing it on your homebrew kit, and I'll do a homebrew one in the not too distant future, so you can see exactly how similar it is. So yes, we're getting there. Sit rep it's 7 o'clock in the evening and 22 degrees, so it's cooled down quite a bit, but I am tired. I need a beer, I want to sit down, and things are definitely getting that way. So yes, hopefully this should be done soon. So that is part 1 of the Passion Fruit Sour Brew Day. Part 2 to follow. I'll also capture some of the pH samples as well, because obviously I've taken a pH reading now, so I know once I start to see that pH drop, I know the Planetarium is doing its thing and it's starting to sour the work. Like I said, we're going to shoot for about 3.4, so we've got to get from 5.3 down to 3.4. Should take about 3 days. That's roughly how long it's taken before. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon.